A lot has happened in the last few months. Nature has changed its fresh green colors for warm earth tones, and the temperatures have dropped a lot. And most importantly, we are chicken owners now. Although, that didn't really go as we thought it would. It's a long story, so let's start by where I left you hanging in the last video. Last August, I started to build a night house for the chickens I had been dreaming of for at least 5 years. And overall it went surprisingly well, although I had to work late the evening before our new chickens would arrive. And then, the next day, it was the day. We woke up early and found our way to the market. I took my time choosing our hens. Not only in order to pick a nice color combination, but I also observed the behavior of the hens, to see whether they were energetic or lethargic, if they were fair or bullies, or if they looked like they could become an easy victim for bullying. And that is how we picked our little flock. Once at home, we placed the night house where we wanted to build the enclosure. We put the house under a fig tree, so that it would cast a cooling shadow during the summer with its leaves, but wouldn't block the warm sun in winter. Chickens have a nice warm feather coat, which means that they don't deal with the heat so well, so I focused mostly on that with the placement of their domain. And then it was time to put the chickens in their house. The first chicken we picked is Rosie. She is a rumpless Araucana. My husband picked her for the beautiful combination of a silver body and a fiery golden head. Without her tail, from all our hens, she looks most like an elegant little dinosaur. The second chicken we picked is Susie. She is a Millefiori, 1,000 flowers. The name of her breed is very fitting, because with her beautiful white speckles, she looks like a field of marguerites. I also like that she has yellow legs. The third chicken we picked is Amber. She is from the German breed Vorwerk. They are slightly bigger chickens, with a brown body and a black head. Also Amber is very elegant. We locked our chickens in the little night house for 2 days. We did this so they would familiarize with the house and use it as a place to go hide, sleep, and lay their eggs. And while the chickens stayed in their house, we built the enclosure around them. And then it was time to leave the chickens out in their enclosure. You can pause this video and guess in the comments which chicken first will set foot on the grassy lands. Somehow I thought that they would run out immediately, but they actually took their time. So, in the end, it was Susie who involuntarily fell off the plank, but they mostly stayed inside that week. Eventually, it was Rosie who we found exploring the domain first. When the chickens started to spend most of their days outside, I worked on finishing the coop. Starting with the rusty roof. I treated it with a few layers of a product that helps to block rust from spreading. And after that, I gave it a coat of paint. Then I painted the decorative trims in a lighter green so they would stand out a little bit more. And under the guard of our neighbor's chickens, I placed back the compost pile that we had to remove in order to make the chickens' enclosures. Only this time I made an extra structure so I can better turn the compost. We have a little spot close to the compost where we throw kitchen scraps for the chickens to dig around in. They'll love it. Later, I built a bit of a wall around it so that the scraps wouldn't get everywhere and I could easily transfer them to the compost when they start to rot. And like this, they keep themselves busy all day, and I find it beautiful to watch. I found a wooden structure that I turned into a gate for the chicken enclosure. And I also made a walking plank with some extra grip for their paws. I treated both the gate and the plank with the same wood oil for outdoor use. And then I installed the little shutters for the windows, as the nights were starting to get a bit fresher. It is important that chickens are not bothered by wind or drafts while they sleep. And I placed a plastic tarp over the gap on top of the roof. Like this, everything is flexible enough for the roof to still open, but water can't get in. We noticed a friendship forming in our flock. We often saw Susie and Amber walking around together, taking little naps together and preening each other's feathers. But sadly enough, this friendship couldn't last very long. 2 days after this footage was filmed, we found Amber lethargic with white diarrhea. After informing ourselves, we found out that it could be coccidiosis, a parasite that can become fatal to chickens very fast. So we took her away from the others, ready to bring her to the vet the next day to give her medications. But the next morning, we found that she sadly passed during the night. We felt very helpless, having lost a chicken so quickly to a disease. We still passed by the vet and got medicine to treat the others in case that they had the parasite but didn't show symptoms yet. This was recommended by the vet. The others seemed very lively and healthy. We decided to add to our flock again. So we bought 2 chickens, since it's best to not introduce one single chicken to an existing flock. We placed the 2 new birds in isolation for 2 weeks before introducing them to the rest. Like this, you have less of a chance of introducing a new disease to your flock, as symptoms don't always show directly. And in the meanwhile, the coop life continued as normal. Scratching, eating, chasing things, dust bathing, adding the decorative trims to the night house, and installing a little timer that opens and closes the night house at scheduled times. Thank you, Oma and Opa, for giving me this for my birthday. And one day, I stumbled upon an unexpected scene. I found my husband sitting in the grass, hand-feeding his favorite chicken, Rosie. Why do I say it's unexpected? Well, you should know that Italians normally don't really like to sit with their clean clothes in grass.
She has a lot of character.
And then it was time to introduce the new chickens. And that went as expected, but they calmed down within 2 days. Here you can see Ginny, a beige Araucana with a tail, and Molly, a black copper maran. And sadly enough, this was the last footage that I took from our little Susie. The day after, she was going along with the rest, but I noticed that she was a little bit off. It was more of a belly feeling than something that I could really point out. I checked her for any clear symptoms, but I couldn't find anything. But I decided to bring her inside anyway. And while I was discussing with my husband if we could find a vet who had time to see us, she passed away. Since it was so unexpected and the second death in our flock, we brought her away for a necropsy. I give you more information on that in the description of this video. We also brought Molly inside to treat her for a virus, but she is holding on strong and getting better every day, so soon she will be able to join the flock again and indulge in mischievous behaviors, just like the other two are doing. So here it is. This is how the chicken coop looks like now. In spring we will probably turn the house so the entrance is visible from our living room. And I will do a better job at hiding the pallets that keep the house from the ground. But for now, it does what it has to do. And I think that our chickens agree, because they started giving us beautiful eggs in the same color as the coop. Would you believe that the color match is a coincidence? Little Rosie usually greets us by running towards us like a little airplane. She's a very curious and observant chicken, while Ginny is obsessed by food and anything that has to do with eating. And Molly has learned to communicate with us with little chicken noises now that we have to handle her so much since she's sick. They all have their little characters, and that makes keeping chickens so amazing. The deaths of our 2 hens took us by surprise, especially seeing all the care that we put in them. In the midst of it all, it even made me wonder if I really wanted to go on keeping chickens. But the truth is, I just really like them. They are such amusing creatures to look at and to spend time with. I accepted that a lot of things are out of my control, and in the future, we might have deaths again in our flock. It doesn't take away from the beautiful moments that we get to spend with them. So here you have the unexpected beginning to our chicken adventure. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a lovely day.